Hello, everyone. I'm Helene Hart, and I'm here with my best friend in the entire world, Mike Goldstein.
Hi, guys. So happy to be here.
Yeah, it took a little while to get down here. There was a lot of traffic, and so it's nighttime and it's dark. So hopefully, let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. I know usually it's a little different setup, but we're super excited. I've actually been getting a ton of questions on my channel recently. Probably the number one question I've been getting is how to know when to move on from a relationship. And it's just, do you hear this as well from women?
All the time.
Yeah, and I also did a poll on my audience. Oh, hello, thank you guys. Let us know where you're joining from. We're so happy that you can. We didn't know who'd be available at this time, but we're so happy to be here with you. I did a poll on my channel last night. Actually, we were on the phone late last night, and we did this poll just wondering if you just wanted us to give advice and answer questions during this live stream, or if you'd like us to share a little bit more about our own personal stories and journeys and things like that. And over 2/3 of you said you wanted to hear more from us. And so we're happy to do that too if you guys are interested. Raluca says, moving on is so hard. Hello, you too. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So yeah, we're really excited. I'm actually really nervous. I'm like shaking right now because
relax, you're gonna be okay.
Because it's just something, we don't talk very much about these kinds of things, and I don't even know how long I'll leave this video up. I'm gonna leave it up as long as I can tolerate it being up, but I know I just have had this feeling that I can help more people by kind of sharing some more things about what I've been through personally, and I know you feel the same way as well, right?
Absolutely.
So before we jump into all of that, Mike, what would you just say is the number one tool or way for a woman to tell whether or not a man is right for her or whether it might be time to move on?
Yes, great question. So we basically just need to evaluate the relationship instead of evaluating the man.
Yeah.
And I know I do this all the time too. It's kind of like we go through the stat sheet and like I'll be like, all right, this woman went to a great college, she comes from a good family, she has good friends, has a good job, has a good support system, has all these activities she does. Like, this could be marriage potential. And I'm like, the stat sheet's fantastic. I'll keep going. But what about the relationship? Like, is she responding to text messages? Is she having phone conversations? Is she showing up to dates? How are the dates? Are they fun? Is the person receptive to talk? And how does she deal with my feelings? If I'm having a bad day, how does she interact? So instead of going on the stat sheet, let's evaluate the relationship. Like, so instead of evaluating the person, like we go, all right, the guy has a great job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The chemistry's off the charts. He's so hot. He's so funny. I laugh so much when we're together. But then when he disappears for a week at a time, I don't feel so good. And I start to feel anxious and insecure, right? Something I always say is how do you feel about yourself when you're with this man, right? Forget about how you feel about him, the person, and how attracted you are to him, how much you have strong feelings for him. How do you feel about yourself, both when he's right in front of you and when he's not right in front of you? So what do you guys think about that? Is it easy or hard for you to evaluate the relationship, not just the person? I know for so many women, and myself included, we can all do this. We can get swept up in our strong feelings for a man that we're kind of ignoring how we're feeling about ourselves, or like are my needs even getting met here, right? I see that in the comments all the time. Like, a woman gives me paragraphs and paragraphs of her story, and often my question is very simple, like, how does this dynamic feel to you? Like, what are you getting out of this situation here? So very important thing to keep in mind. Another thing I kind of wanted to mention in terms of this topic is that when you come into alignment with yourself, I truly have found in my own life and just in the lives of so many women out there that it's the right people for you really step up and they make an effort. Men, especially masculine men, they come and get you. They make an effort to be in your life. They show you that they want to be in your schedule and in your life, right? And they want to keep working at the relationship if you've been together a while, or they don't. The wrong people fade away. Something I always say is you don't have to micromanage it. You just have to come into alignment with yourself and your heart's true desires. I always talk about taking your focus off of a man and putting it on yourself where it belongs, like your own life, your own feelings. And that's one way to do it, rather than focusing over there, what's going on with him, how does he feel? Just how do you feel in this situation? Does this feel good to you or does it not? It's actually much more simple than we sometimes make it out to be, right?
Absolutely. Can I add one point?
Yeah.
There's a really confusing thing that happens, and we've all been there, where you kind of are with the guy, and when you're with him in person, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Like we're having the best time ever. And then in between dates or in between seeing him, you start to feel anxious or insecure. And we need to evaluate that too, because it's not only how we feel when we're with him, but how do we feel in between dates? Does he show up texting, phone calls? And if you present this information like, hey, like I need you to show up with, not disappearing for a week, does he deliver on that front? Because I think sometimes I'm running into folks that are giving men a pass, and it's not acceptable. Like everyone who's on here is a queen, and you deserve to be treated that way.
Yeah.
And just because you feel amazing when you're with him doesn't mean he gets a pass when you're not together.
Men do the same thing as well. Yeah. I imagine, right? We all do that, but yeah, I totally agree. Like you guys in my mind are up here. Like you deserve the best treatment. Not that you're better than the man or better than anyone, but every woman, every person deserves someone who wants to be with them and shows them with their actions, not just their words, that they want to stick in there and work things out. So we have a couple questions. Do you want to answer them quickly before we kind of jump into the next? Okay. Madeline says, what do you say about the intuitive soul connect gut feeling you get about someone? No, we're both still aligning ourselves apart from now, but feels like it's meant to be someday. Oh, wow. Great question. What are his actions showing you? Madeline, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's spelled a little different. What are his actions showing you? Is it this just feeling like, oh, we're meant to be together? What you don't want to do is choose a man and decide that the two of you are meant to be together before he actually shows you with his actions sorry, my allergies are bad today. Before he shows you with his actions that he wants to move things forward. In other words, you don't want to invest emotionally in him if he hasn't invested in you, right? So let us know a little bit about what's going on there. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah. So 50% of, let's go humans, 50% of men, 50% of women both have what's called false attraction and true attraction.
Yeah. And I know you've been dying to talk about this.
Yeah, I have been dying to talk about this.
He kept going, can we talk about this one thing? We're going to do a whole live stream on this probably because it's like our thing right now that we're really excited about. But
basically we have to be careful. So I am false attraction, which is the one you don't want, which means that you judge someone sometimes just based on chemistry and not compatibility. So like, for example, me, when, and I know that I have this now, but in the past, if I saw a beautiful woman and we kind of hit it off, everything went out the window. I just was like, well, does she need to have my same values? Do we have to have things that get along? Like, she's pretty, I'm in. And so with that, we just have to be careful. Like, let's look under the hood of the car to make sure the car's not a lemon, the guy's not a lemon. So is this guy have the things you need? And what that is values and his actions, what Helena just said. And does he show up? And how do you feel? Once again, what Helena said, do you feel enjoyment? And does it stay consistent? Because if it goes away after, a month or two, well, then maybe it was just a chemistry thing, not a compatibility thing.
Yeah, this false attraction, for anyone interested, this is our friend, Larry Michael, who's awesome. We love Larry. Maybe we should get him on for a live stream. But he has this whole thing where he has your chart about your communication style and your sexual response type and your financial logic and your activity level. And one is this true and false attraction. I somehow amazingly have true attraction. However, I was asking him because he was at Anya's birthday party last month. And I said, about 10 years ago, I felt like I had false attraction. All the men I were attracted to were not the men where it worked out, right? And he said, because I have a protector modifier, I have this strong need to protect myself. He said, you were probably doing that as a way to protect yourself from real intimacy and commitment, which was totally spot on. Amazing. If you guys are interested in this whole getting your chart and all this stuff, it's genetic energetics, or is it energetic genetics? One of those two. It's amazing.
Yeah, we got the link.
Yeah, Madeline says, yes, you got it. He says he feels the same way about me. He's very emotionally and time invested, but he's taking time apart to work on his intimacy and attachment issues that came up with us. Okay. All right. Interesting. So we're healing attachment wounds apart. Yeah. I mean, see how it goes. If you're not together right now, just evaluate what he's doing. Don't put all your eggs in that basket. I know it can be easy to do that if you have strong feelings for him, right? But keep your energy open. If you're not in a relationship, keep your energy open. Certainly, there might be another man out there who is ready and does want the same things. Could be just as good of a match for you, if not better. Yeah. You definitely need to be more focused on how a person is on the inside and how they act as far as follow-up and if their action matches words. I totally agree, Kim. Totally agree. There was a question too from Katie. Every time we look over here, we're just reading the comments and questions. What are some tips to express needs without sounding needy? Great question. Great question. Do you want to go into that?
What was the question?
How to express needs without being needy. I know you
How
have
to
a lot
express
of
needs. Oh!
Yeah. This is
Yes.
totally Mike's topic. Yeah.
That is the most amazing question.
Every time Mike rubs his hands together, I get like very excited, like something
Here we go!
Something good's about to happen.
Like, every woman watching this, it's like terrifying. You don't want to be the mom and you don't want to nag a guy because you're like, that is the last thing I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So it's all about the wording and the emotion of the wording.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get so much from a man. You just have to say, like, you'd make me the happiest woman in the world if you did X. That's the formula for basically everything.
Mm-hmm.
I told a story. This was a live group of like 50 women, and I was presenting, and I'm like, my ex used to say, you'd make me the happiest woman in the world if you would vacuum when we were living together. So like I'd get up and I'd like go vacuum. I'd be like, and she'd be like, oh, Mike, like your arms look so sexy while you're vacuuming and you're so hot. And I'd be like, every week I was like, where's the vacuum? Where is the vacuum? Like, I'm going to go vacuum.
Amazing. I love that.
So formula, you would make me the happiest woman in the world if you do X. And men, me, I want to make you happy. That's pretty much every man's goal in this relationship. Make a woman happy. So if you use that formula and then, so you make them feel needed, you tell them what you want, then you give them appreciation once she's doing it. And as long as appreciation is just like a little higher than the task, like, Mike, like, thank you so much for vacuuming. Like, you're such an amazing boyfriend, husband, whatever you are. Like, thank you. You're so generous. Then we respond to that. And we see the value of doing it. Does that make sense, Helene?
Totally. So what I hear you saying is make him feel needed, right? Not in a way where you're like, I'm not happy, so you need to do this to make me happy, right? Make him feel needed. Express your desire. Express what you would like. What would make you happy? Then show appreciation. Love
Absolutely.
It. Perfect.
Yeah,
formula.
just to like,
I love it.
Like just to show like the nagging would be like, Mike, you never vacuum, or oh, it's so dirty in here, or oh, look at all the stuff on the carpet. It's like, Mike, like you're kicking so much butt at work. Like you'd make me so happy if you vacuum sometime. That's the difference.
Totally. Yeah. Follow-up question from Katie. How do you ask him to show up without sounding demanding, causing him to flee? Are you in an exclusive relationship with him, Katie? Because if you are, you have a little more leverage in the sense that he's kind of, if he wants to take you off the market, he's kind of telling you that he wants to be the one to meet your needs. He doesn't want you getting those needs met from other men. You can always express your needs. You can, I don't know what you mean by show up. Give us a little more details. Does that mean call you more, go out with you more often, text you? Any tips there?
Yeah, like, so let's just assume he's not taking you on enough dates. You would just say like, it would make me the happiest woman in the world if you would take me on a date sometime. Or maybe he just like forgot to take you on a date.
Yeah, she's like call more, connect more.
Call more? It would make me the happiest woman in the world if I could hear your voice like once a day and then see what he does. Like, you don't want to nag and be like, oh, I never hear from you. It's like, and this happened to me in one of my past relationships. I didn't call enough because I was building my business. And as a man, we're wildly single focused. And so we're just like business. Let me focus on this. And I didn't forget about my woman, but I'm focused on this at the moment. But if I knew how powerful it would have been to call her and what she eventually told me, then I'm like, wait a second. I just have to take 5 minutes out of my day to make this phone call. And now like I'm the greatest boyfriend on the planet versus the one she's not happy with. 5-minute phone call. Like that's so easy. So you just say, you would make me the happiest woman in the world if you give me a 5-minute phone call. It's like, that's easy. And then once the phone call happens, you say, thank you so much for calling me. This makes me so happy.
Totally.
It's that easy.
I think it's great. Yeah, she says, got it. That's great. Amazing. Wow, you are that awesome. I knew that was like the perfect question for you. Madeline says, so,
she just did it. See how she appreciated me? And then I smiled and I'm all happy?
I don't know. That's like the thing that I'm good at, I think.
You are
like
good at that.
One thing that just comes out natural. So let's see. Madeline also asked, what's your take on law of attraction to manifest love, aka, it's so hard to see this when it's dark because the lights are like blinding me. Can you read that? When thinking of an ex, should you send love or shutting them out? A better way to heal from a breakup. Wow, what a great question. You know, I'm not a huge fan of sending thoughts of love. It's like, I mean, how does it feel to do that? Does it feel good to you? Or are you doing it to try to make something happen? You guys know I'm huge into these law of attraction concepts. I just recorded 2 videos on that actually right before Mike came over. So stay tuned for those. How does it feel when you do that? If you're doing it to try to make something happen, you are resonating with the absence of what you want, not the presence of what you want, correct? I'm going to send him thoughts of love, or I'm going to shut him out. Either one of those, Madeline. What's your purpose? Are you doing it because you're trying to make something happen? Because you're trying to manifest love. You're trying to get something that you don't have right now. Feel how lackful that is. I don't know if lackful is a word, but you're coming from a place of lack. You're resonating with the absence of what you want. Versus, I'm doing this because it feels good. I'm going to send him thoughts of love because it feels good. Or I'm going to take his number out of my phone because it feels good, and it's creating space for the right guy to show up. If you're doing something simply because it feels good and it gets you into a vibration where you're in this state of allowing, where what you want can show up, you're good. And this answer could be different for everyone. It's not like a brass tacks, like do these exact steps. If you're doing it to try to make something happen, you're resonating with the absence of what you want. What you want can't show up. I hope that makes sense. Did it make sense to you?
Yeah, that was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it.
I could talk for hours on that, so I'm like trying to keep it brief. Okay, guy I've been dating exclusively lost his job 2 weeks ago. We're extremely slow due to distance and schedule. Now he hasn't been calling, only texting, and hadn't made plans to see me. Should I let him go?
So you're dating exclusively.
Lost his job 2 weeks ago. It's long distance, schedule's busy, he hasn't been calling, he's only been texting, he hasn't made a plan. Have you told him that it would feel good to see him, that it would feel good to have a plan in place so you know when you're going to see him again? Let us know, because before you just walk away, you might want to give him a chance to step up for you, right?
Yeah, and like, especially if you're losing your job, like that stinks. Like that's like one of the worst things that can happen. So he's probably a little down in the dumps. So I think this is a great opportunity to show that he's needed, because right now he's feeling like, well, my job didn't need me, but I bet he wants Kristen to need him. So if you say like, hey, like I'd love to see you, it's like, whoa, I do have a spot, and my spot is to be with Kristen. So I think this could be a good opportunity for him to get closer to you and for you guys to bond.
Yeah, she says, yes, he can. He said he can work on that. It's tough because he has no income and he's depressed. Kristen, I actually have a video on my channel called What to Do If a Man's Depressed, Having Financial Issues, or Going Through a Tough Time. It's a great video. I think that would really help you a lot. I can include a link if someone reminds me after this. It's with Adrienne Everhart. It's really, I think it'll help you because that's your exact situation without going too in depth here. Madeline says, I'm tuning to the vibe myself in a place of feeling like I already have a man, him or another, so I feel good doing it. If he's like training wheels, perfect. You're in a perfect place. Keep doing what you're doing. If it feels good, do it. If you're wanting something for everyone, if you're wanting something so much that it like hurts, it's painful because you just want it so much, it like hurts your heart, or you want something so much that it immediately causes you to doubt it, you're wanting it more than you're able to allow it. And this works for any situation, right? You're wanting it more. You're working against yourself because you're wanting it more than you're able to allow it in. Allowing being a feminine energy quality. I don't know if this even makes sense to you, but that seems to resonate with a lot of women because coming from that feminine place. So that's my last piece of advice there. Let's see. My boyfriend invited another woman to stay at his friend's house for 3 days, hasn't called or texted me. I'm uncomfortable, not sure how to handle it and what to say. Wow, great. That's a tough situation.
My boyfriend has invited another woman to stay with his friends.
Is he going to be there too? And now he's like MIA? Is that what's happening? I would address that. I would say it feels a little weird. I mean, it's your boyfriend we're talking about. It feels a little weird not having heard from you the past couple days. Is there something I should know? She apparently has a boyfriend, still makes me uncomfortable. They just met a few weeks ago. She's from out of town. Yeah, if it makes you uncomfortable, let him know, right? Don't just hold that in and not say anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just let them know, and hopefully the guy will show up and say, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to help?
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have any more questions about this topic? How to move on? We were gonna keep it to like 30 minutes. It's already 20 minutes. So, would you like to hear more about our stories, like our most painful breakup stories?
Dun dun dun.
You guys want to hear about that? Anybody? If not, I'm happy to end it right here too, because I'm nervous talking about it.
Helene is like,
Yes.
Everyone say no. She doesn't want to tell the story.
Oh, yes. Please tell your stories. Okay. All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I think we want Helene to go first, right?
Ladies
first?
I want you to go first because I'm just, but I think I should go first too because I'm shaking, nervous right now. I'll probably be nervous until I do it.
Relax.
Yeah, I know, right?
Come on.
You guys, Mike
Everyone give
is
Helene support. She's going to be okay.
I could never do this without you, I have to say. Mike is literally he's my best friend in the whole world. And with him around, I feel like everything's going to be fine. That's just how he is. It's amazing. So thank you for being here for this.
You got this.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Matt's here too. Matt, I love you. Okay. Yeah. I think did I tell him? I didn't even tell Matt I was going to do this today. I'm so happy to have you here. Matt never comes and watches my live streams. I always give him a hard time. So I'm so happy that he's here for this one. I just so one-sided. I'm always watching his, but he's not watching mine. So thank you guys all for being here. Okay, a lot of people know that I was married before, right? Did you guys know this? Actually, maybe not, because by the time I started doing videos on YouTube, I wasn't anymore. So some people know that, some people don't know that. And I haven't talked too much about this, and I don't talk a lot about my personal life here on YouTube with such a broad scope, and it's so just out there in public because so much of the time it involves another person who didn't sign up for all of this, and even in with my situation with my ex back when I was married, he was so supportive of everything that I was doing, and still is, just as a friend in my life, that I wanted to give him that same respect too, and not just come out here and run my mouth on YouTube. But the more I connect with you guys from my community, the more I'm I really think that my story could probably help some people. And no, I don't have children, Kristen. I don't have kids. So I wanted to just share a little bit about it and just, I don't know, see what you guys think. I don't feel like I'm an expert in this topic, but it's something that I lived through myself. And yeah, so I was married before I really started all of this stuff. And he was a great guy. He unfortunately, about, I would say 6 to 9 months before I had to leave, developed a really bad alcohol problem, alcohol addiction, horrible, took him down really fast. And he's such a great guy. I want to just start by telling you what an amazing person he was. I'm trying to think of a good story to do that. He was, and still is, a great guy. A lot of you guys know I was kind of losing my ability to walk about, 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, something like that. And before the doctors and everybody could figure out what was going on, I was every day was getting worse. And I had to kind of sit down and tell him, I don't think I had walked for a year and a half. I was on crutches. I was in so much pain. I was, it was really bad. I had to kind of say, I can't promise you that I'm going to have a normal life. I can't promise you that I'm ever going to walk again. Nobody has answers for me. Thank God everything, everything worked itself out there after having surgeries to reconstruct my legs and all these surgeries and everything. Everything turned out fine. But at the time, he was it didn't even faze him. He was so what? I don't care if you can walk or not. I don't care if you're going to be on crutches or in a wheelchair forever. You're the love of my life. What difference does it make? Literally, it just didn't faze him. He's such a great guy. We were best friends. He was amazing. And we got married. It was kind of one of those relationships that everyone was that's what I want for myself. And it was really it was really great. And this is probably gonna be the most jumbled story I've ever told, by the way, because I'm I haven't thought about even how I'm gonna talk about it too much, because I knew we certainly haven't rehearsed it, because I'm
you're doing well.
Okay.
Keep going. You got it.
Mike doesn't like how I tell stories. I go in all these different directions.
No, it's beautiful. I love it.
And the reason I'm not all emotional about this is because I've completely healed from this, right? So anyway, great guy. We got married, and then about, I would say 9 months before it ended, maybe 6 months before it ended, he started drinking really heavily. And Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. And it was really bad. The details of it are pretty shocking, and I don't want to just throw those out here because I'm just telling this for the first time. Really shocking. Became a very kind of unsafe, dangerous situation for me, and I did what I would tell any of my clients or any of you or anyone to do. I had to get myself out of there because it just became a unlivable kind of dangerous situation. And luckily, I got out before anything too terrible happened. And I just had, and I don't know, I just feel, even just now, I feel nervous talking. I know he's subscribed to my channel, and and he's a wonderful guy. He may or may not be watching this. I don't know. We're good friends. Enough time has passed to where we're good friends, and I care about him as a person. And there's no going back. There's no feelings of romantic feelings or even attraction anymore. But he's a wonderful guy. Unfortunately, he chose. Every time he said he wanted to get help, I'm like, of course, I'm your wife. I'm like, yes, let's do this. I'll get you anything you need. Something big and dramatic happened at one point, and after that, he told me I thought maybe that was going to be the rock bottom moment, and it wasn't. He said, I don't want to get help. I'm not going to stop. And so that's when I had to get myself out of there. So I don't know what else to say about that. Oh, in terms of like how it relates to this topic, I would say, sometimes something big happens and it's really obvious that this is no longer the right person for you, right? As much as I stuck in there as long as I could and wanted to stay, sometimes something so dramatic happens and it's just like you're just on such different paths, and like one person's going up and one person's going down, and if they don't want to help themselves, you have to, like Mike said, evaluate the relationship, not the person. If I was going to evaluate the person, I'd be like, he's like one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He has such a big heart. He's such a wonderful, nice guy. My family would still do anything for him. He's wonderful, wonderful person. It became a horrible situation because of the alcoholism. So I don't know. Is there anything you want to like ask or say? I haven't been looking at these comments.
Yeah, I think I've been reading them, and everyone's just really appreciative that you were able to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he told me he wasn't going to get help. I moved on. Yeah, Kristen, totally relate to that. And relate to a different reason. How long did it take to be friends again? It took a while. It took a while. It was when the process of, he was actually a great guy to divorce, as weird as that sounds, but because he was like, I totally get it. Like, you can't, like, this is a bad situation for you. Obviously the way I'm dealing with this is not effective. It's not like these things keep happening over and over. And so he totally understood. And it was like a pretty fast, like friendly process and again, we didn't have kids or anything. So that was helpful. Summer, how did you move on? It was interesting. Like so to answer the first question, how long did it take to be friends again? I don't know. There was a good amount of time where we just didn't talk at all. And then it just kind of, maybe it was like a Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or something. And we're not like best friends. We don't have dinner every week or anything like that. But it's like, I care about him as a person. We shared a life together. He's a great guy. He would do anything for me still in a heartbeat. Oh, thank you so much. I can't like read all these out loud because I'm going to start crying. But how did you move on? I really felt, Summer, that my, something took over in me. It was almost like like my own empowered masculine energy, like took me out of it was a situation where we were in another country. It was a bad scene. I just kind of felt something take over and get myself out of there and get myself home. And just like, it was just my own empowering myself to do what I would tell anyone to do, to get out. And just like, you start looking for places to live. You start, getting things in order, like just different things like that. Health insurance, you start figuring things out. And then I remember I was like right here on this couch. I remember like crying and just knowing like, this is the last time I'm going to cry about this. Not in a way that it was like I'm determined, this is the last time, I'm never going to cry about this. But that was kind of like not in a masculine, I'm going to force it to be the last time. It was kind of more of a, this is the last time I'm going to cry about this. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but that's what it really felt like at the time. And that was a long time ago. So I've definitely healed from it. And I knew that I wanted to be on my own for a while. Like, obviously I could have, just like we all can, oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I really wanted to take time and be on my own and heal from this. I didn't want to just, I've certainly dated and been in, brief relationships, but knowing that I wanted to take time to heal, get on my own, get back on my own feet. There was some like trauma and stuff that was associated with it that I needed to work through. And so that's what I had been focused on for the past, I don't know, just after it happened. I left because I knew I spent one more weekend with a drunk guy who would leave all weekend and black out. I would completely lose myself, save me from myself before another weekend came. Yeah. Oh gosh, I totally relate to that. Yeah. It's such a tough thing. And I don't even, I wouldn't consider myself an expert in this. Like, if someone came to me and said, I'm in this situation, can you help me? Like, I would definitely refer them out to someone who's like an expert. Like, I lived through it and I learned a lot, and I kind of had to, like, we got married before I knew a lot of the stuff that I know now, most of it. So I had to kind of forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know until I lived through it. So, yeah, it was just one of those things that I didn't know a lot about it. And then, you start researching it and talking to other people and connecting with people who are in that situation. And you start going, oh my God, I thought my situation was so unique. Like, this is just what happens. Like, this is the disease. And that's also why I haven't talked about it too much on here, because there's this aspect of it where he certainly didn't have or doesn't have control over it. So that means I definitely didn't have control over it. And so at the same time, there were choices that were made that were really bad choices. Like Kristen and some people in the chat, I can see that have similar stories. So I really grapple with that. Like, do I want to come on and talk about something that he doesn't have any control over? I don't know. That it's one of those things that I don't want to say too much, because it is a disease. It is something that was completely out of control, which he knows and regrets everything now. But yeah, that's my big breakup story. That was the worst. That was the worst. I mean, to completely turn my world upside down. And it was like heart-wrenching. And but I got through it, and I don't think I would have done anything differently looking back. Mike was asking, but when he's like, what would you have done differently? I probably would have maybe left a little sooner. But I know some people stay for years and decades in that situation. It was about 6 months that was really, really bad. But intermittently he would be saying he needs to get help. And so of course that it would pull me back in and I'd want to help. But eventually when he said, he's not going to get help, that's when I knew for sure, especially after what had happened. So yeah, do you want to talk about your situation or ask me anything or say anything? If you guys have any questions for me, please ask me. I would love to answer all of them.
Well, just to come full circle, where are you at now, would you say?
I mean, I'm in a great place now. I'm totally at a great place now. For a while it was really hard, it was really hard, but I have I didn't realize how much support I have. Like, the level of support I have with just friends and people who have stepped forward, people I didn't even know that well, once they found out what was going on, were like, I've been in this situation too. We're going to, people offering places for me to live, even though I didn't need it. The level of support I had was almost abnormal. It felt really abnormal. And also, I think I've talked about this before. My dad was an alcoholic when I was he's been sober for over 3 decades now, so I don't remember him being drinking or anything, but obviously it affected me, and I was trying very hard to not marry an alcoholic, you guys. I was really thinking that I was making this very cerebral, conscious, smart choice. And did I beat myself up going, I should have seen the signs, I should have taken into account family history? Of course, at the time you think how did I not see this coming? And even my family would say, said, if we had seen any red flags, of course we would have told you, we would have pulled you aside and said something. Everyone told me that. And so you kind of have to forgive yourself for not knowing. So where I'm at now, to answer your question, yeah, totally kind of beyond all that. And of course, this is something I wanted to talk about too. Did I feel like my value as a person, especially doing what I do now, kind of decreased because I had gone through this? Yeah, of course. Like I would be lying if I were to say no. I totally felt like this super high value, like courageous person. I mean, those thoughts still pop into my head all the time. I'm human. I think like I should have known better. I should have made different choices. So I still struggle with that a little bit sometimes, but I also don't, my happiness and my safety, of course, is more important to me than what something looks like on the outside. So, yeah, how long ago was that? It was 2 years ago, like officially maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. No friends, no family. It's so difficult. And that's because, let's see. Thank you for taking time to be vulnerable. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Take on the spiritual root of addiction. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. So yeah, I'm in a good place now. Sometimes I still struggle with it, with wishing I had made different. I actually don't. I don't know. I would say I'm in a really good place. The whole not feeling embarrassed about it, that's behind me. That's gone. I don't feel that way personally. Like professionally, sometimes. But most coaches have totally been through hell, and that's kind of why they do what they do, right? I don't know anyone who does what we do who's had this like perfect journey with like no bumps in the road or anything, and that's kind of like what drives us to want to like use our stories to help other people. So hopefully this helps somebody out there. Kind of felt like the past couple days like momentum building around it. So whenever I feel that way, and then I come on here and talk about stuff, usually someone comments. Maybe it's days later, maybe it's weeks later. Usually a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that. So yeah. Do you want to say anything else or ask, or do you want to talk about your breakup story?
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to hear my breakup story?
Yeah. Are you guys interested in Mike's story too? Because it's kind of like it's a different situation, but I think we can kind of, with mine, I think it's something big happened. But with Mike, and I know for so many people, it's not one big event. It's something different. So go ahead. Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Yeah. So to evaluate the person, first off, like the person, I was engaged and broke off an engagement, and she was an amazing person, still is. So absolutely fantastic person, like takes care of her family, good job, takes care of everyone around her, just a really good person. So here's how it all started. So on our second date, I took her to the beach. I picked her up, took her to the beach in Long Island back when I was living in New York, and Long Beach, I think. Anyway, went to the beach, hung out. Then we went to this fancy bar on the beach and got a drink. And then we're walking back to my car. And she goes to me, this is our second or third date. This was the best date of my entire life. And I look at her and I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, I just took you to the beach, like no big deal. And I go, come on, like this was the best date of your life? And she goes, yes, this was the best date of my entire life. So then I went home and I thought about that. And I'm like, hold on, if it's this easy to make her happy, like maybe this is a real contender. Maybe I should take her seriously. Mm-hmm. And when she said that, that also drew me to want to try harder. So the next date, I was like, how am I going to one-up this date? And then I went like really above and beyond and planned this big whole extravagant weekend and really stepped it up. And so then we obviously fell for each other. And then, I proposed and all that stuff. But where did it go wrong? So at this point, I didn't have boundaries, and I didn't quite fully know what I was doing. I was kind of just like in love and just, kind of going through my everyday life. Like, all right, this is the one I chose. Let's go. But the relationship really wasn't always great because we didn't see eye to eye on things. For a while, I wasn't allowed to hang out with my friends. Like I couldn't go out on the weekends because there was concern that I'd be talking to women and which was unfortunate because I've never ever cheated on a girlfriend, a fiance ever in my life, and that's not my thing. And we weren't able to see eye to eye on this. So eventually, I really valued the relationship and I wanted to move forward with the marriage. So I decided I just wasn't going to go out, and I acquiesced to her terms because I wanted to make her happy, and my goal always was to make her happy. So then I just never went out, and I spent all my time with her, and I really lost my relationships with all my friends, and I got a very isolated life. And especially from the job I do, which is similar to hers, I make these videos, I work from home, I see clients virtually. So I never really left the house. I didn't go see my friends, and I just had her. So then I lost it all. Anyway, I got wildly depressed, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, I have this great girl, but really, all I had was that. And then I lost, my friends, even a little bit of my family, just having all these other interactions, but I couldn't figure out why I was depressed. But so then looking back at it about 3 to 6 months after the relationship ended, I soon realized you need to have everything within your relationship. Like, you can't say goodbye to your friends. You can't say goodbye to your family. You still got to have all your activities. You still have to have your independent lives. But instead, I just had our lives together, and I never had any of, what I used to have, which is my friends, my activities, my soccer, all the things I used to do. So yeah. Where was I headed with all this?
What was there a moment, like in my story, was there like kind of like a one defining moment, or was it something that just kind of over time you realized this wasn't what you originally thought, or this wasn't what it used to be?
Yeah, so there was 2 big moments that I can think of now. So I proposed, and through that we had a little fighting in regards to planning the wedding. Anyway, I'm like, I'm going to do like this big gesture. So I took her to Paris. And I was planning to repropose on the Eiffel Tower to show that I was like fully in. And we're on the Eiffel Tower, and I'm like getting ready to repropose. And she just is nagging me. And she keeps going like, why aren't you hanging out with me? Like, you're away from me on the Eiffel Tower. Like, I was just like 10 feet away. And I couldn't even have that moment to myself where I was like admiring the city, and then getting up the courage and to have a second to think about how I was going to repropose. And in that moment when she was nagging, I was like, I want nothing to do with this reproposal. So I didn't. And I remember going home from Europe and just sitting in our second bedroom by myself, and I started crying because I was like, I can't believe I wasn't able to. This was my big moment. I wanted to propose at the Eiffel Tower. I know she loves Paris. So that really sucked. Anyway, I continued on. I was still depressed, didn't know exactly why. And I still, at that moment, I still thought I wanted to marry her, and still was forging ahead because I made a commitment I wanted to do it. But anyway, then I knew I was depressed, and she knew I was depressed. I said, listen, I want to go to the beach. Like, I love the beach. Like, I need to get out of this funk. My buddy's going to be at the beach. Do you mind if I go? She's like, sure. You just have to come home at night. And so I'm at dinner, and I call her, and I'm like, I'm having a great time. Do you mind if I sleep over? My friend owns a house there. And she goes, you can't sleep over. And now when I look back, like, those are the 2 moments. Like, she knows I'm sad. Like, why can't I? Like, if we're a real team, why can't I have this moment to have this thing that's going to bring me enjoyment? So that was pretty upsetting.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, where are you at now? Are you happy that you made all the decisions? I mean, I know the answer to that, but I think it'd be helpful for other people to know too.
Yeah, I mean, since this was my best friend and our lives were so together, it was devastating to break up.
Totally.
So the first month, it was really tough, and we didn't talk in that month. And honestly, we haven't talked since. It was tough. But so for the first 3 months, it was probably very tough. But then after that, I was like, whoa, like, I started calling all my friends around the country that I haven't talked to, and all my local friends I started meeting up with again. I was like, wow, my life used to be amazing, and I used to have like all these friends and family, and I used to do all these activities. I rejoined all of them, and I always had a dream of moving to California. And so I finally moved to California. I like got all my friends back. I got all my activities back.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm ecstatic ear to ear,
Yeah.
like just enjoying life.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I didn't realize that she never trusted you. I think you did the right thing. This would be the way it would be the rest of your life. Yeah. Thanks for your input. I agree with that. I didn't realize how much stress I was under. Like when something happens like that too, like someone not trusting you, like you don't really realize the stress that you're under like day to day. Like I was just in constant anxiety all day, every day. So I was so worried. Like I'm just like so worried about this person that you care and love so much, like you care about so much. I didn't realize like what it was like to just be normal again, to not have that stress and that like just like constant anxiety, constant fear, like something bad's gonna happen. Like it takes over, but you don't really realize it takes over because that just becomes your normal. Like that's just normal for you. So for me, when I like moved out and everything, like my friends, my family should say, wow, you're like yourself again. You're not constantly like on pins and needles worried that like something horrible is about to happen. So yeah. And so I love hearing that you're happy now too. Because I love that. It's great.
Can I add something?
Yeah. I was gonna say Antia's watching.
Oh, hi, Antia.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
So the thing I realized, like looking back at my relationship, that was like an area of opportunity for me was I fell for her, and then I saw some issues within the relationship, and then I acquiesced to them, right? But I never took the time at the beginning of my relationship to document what my boundaries truly are. And so when those issues came up of like, hey, one boundary is like I need to have, for example, one guy's night a week to have my independence so I can go see my friends, that I never wrote that down, and I never had that. So then when she started saying, that can't really exist, I just kind of went for it. So what I learned is I need to document my boundaries.
Yes.
And of course we do that with clients now, is I have a sheet where we document all our boundaries. Because what happened, once again, is once we're in love and we have this connection with someone, we kind of start like slowly removing our boundaries because we're in love.
Totally. Yeah.
But if we have it documented, it's black and white before we're in love. We're like, here's the system. And we're not super rigid about it. If, I've got my boundaries, she's got her boundaries. At some point, we need to come together and write our boundaries. But if we don't know where we really stand, then we just slowly get rid of them. Where if I could have stuck strong to my real boundaries, that would have caused a breakup before we got engaged, which would have been better for me, would have been better for her, all the heartbreak she had to deal with. It just, and that's my fault that I didn't document this, that I didn't stay true to what I needed within the relationship. So, I'm big lesson learned.
Yeah, we've all done that. We've all been there. It's amazing when you fall for someone that just, you're kind of like, okay, well, we'll let that slide. Maybe you start making excuses for the person. Then all of a sudden you're like in this relationship that feels terrible. And you've like, lost all your friends and all that stuff. So yeah. Let me just, do you mind if I scroll through the questions or anything else you want to say? Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to me, guys. I appreciate it.
Right? Antia Boyd is a friend of ours. I actually interviewed her and her husband Brody when we were in San Diego this last weekend with Mark and a bunch of other amazing coaches and people. So I'm going to be posting that soon. We have a great interview on like the shadow side of the relationship and how that, like, I can't wait to share that with you guys. I love, they're amazing. Melissa asks, how do you handle having to interact with your ex because of kids or on a weekly basis that you would like to work things out with? And he's indicated he may want to try again someday, but not right now. I struggle with being warm, feeling like I'm letting my boundaries be pushed. I struggle trying to date because I don't feel like my heart is in it. Melissa, there was a comment from my channel on someone today. I was looking at it. Was this you? Are you guys sleeping together? There was someone who was sleeping with their ex-husband and they have 4 kids. And is that you or was that someone else? I would say if you would like to work things out, he's indicated he may want to try again someday, but not right now. To me, that's your indication that you need to open your energies, date other men, make yourself available to men who do want to be with you, who do see that. Every second you spend waiting for someone who's doesn't know what he wants to do with you, or he's just not wanting what you want, there's no reason for him to want to come back and work on things. If he knows you're going to be waiting there forever, why would he make some kind of decision that works in any situation? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just want to simplify this. We always date men based on the present tense. Wherever they're at this exact moment is how you date them.
Yes.
We don't hope, we don't worry about their future. If they're, this guy has so much potential. No, there's no potential. He is what he is. We date him based on that. And in this case, we date a man based on, is he available now? No. So then we have to move on. And, if you find someone new, that's better. Great. If if later he does truly become available and you're available, then you can revisit it. But we can't waste that energy right now. It's not fair for you because he's not ready and you are. So find someone who is also ready.
Yeah. We just got a whole bunch of comments on boundaries. So I'm like, so glad you shared all of that, Mike. Good points about boundaries. Something I need to work on for sure. Someone else said getting over codependency makes it not fun. Okay. Well, I'm learning to not be dramatic about the things while also resetting some boundaries. It's hard. Yeah, it can be hard, but you want to do that now, right? You want to do that now before. And then there was another question about boundaries. I think it just got retracted. Carly, if that was you, you might want to type it in if you want us to answer it. Any questions about boundaries or anything? We're actually kind of way over on time. So, anything else you guys want to know? Any other questions or anything? Anything else you want to say?
I don't know. I just told them everything.
Yeah, I know, right? Thanks for everything. You guys. I know, I have more appreciation and love for all of you guys than I have the words to express. So I hope you can just feel it from me. I hope you can just feel it. And thank you for being here. I would never do this without you here or without one of my friends here. So thank you for helping me.
Guys, thank you for listening to us. And it was definitely hard for us to tell these stories. And we couldn't have done it without all of you. Procrastinating and but I think it was this helpful? Let's see. Absolutely love your chats. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all your sweet comments too. I didn't go through and read them all out loud because I was going to probably start crying, but I will certainly go back and read everything. Love everything you guys shared. You're very welcome, Kristen and everybody. Have a great weekend. Should I tell them about our thing?
It's up to you. Do you?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, I'll let you say whatever you want to say. I don't know what you're talking about exactly, so I'll just let you say what you're going to say. Do you have any water left?
Yeah, have some more. Okay. So Helene and I don't talk about this too often, but we have a partnership.
Oh yeah.
Where we do one-on-one coaching together. Separate, but you get both of us. 6 months of coaching. It's our most high-end package, and Helena, as you guys know, if you've been following her, doesn't do any one-on-one coaching anymore.
That's true.
So the only way to get access to her is through our joint program, which is pretty neat because I guess I've had the highest success rate in the country at putting people together at 83%.
86% this year, right?
86. Thank you. Wow, good memory.
How do I know that?
I don't know.
You didn't want, but I think you didn't want to change all your marketing and stuff. So we'll just stick to 83%.
That is right. I didn't. But so I was analyzing the 17%. I'm like, what am I missing? And I'm like, I really need someone who's doing law of attraction, who's doing feminine energy. I'm like, wait a second. I know someone who's the best at that, period. So I wanted to partner with Helena, and she doesn't do one-on-one coaching. So I basically had to beg her to do one-on-one coaching. And I was like, we really need to help people. And I'm having a lot of success, and, I'm getting people married, and it's really fulfilling. And I think with you, we could really help people. So anyway, what we're going to do is put a link if you guys want to, apply for that. What happens is we'll put the link down there after this. We're sorry it's not there. We were freaking out about telling you the story. Anyway, we'll put the link. Process is you're going to talk to me for 15 minutes. Just make sure you're qualified. And also you guys can ask us questions about what the program looks like. So I'll give you an opportunity to do that. And then if that makes sense, we'll move you to the next step. And then after that, then we'll get the program set up. So there's a lot of steps just to make sure it's a perfect fit. And ultimately, we're going to get you the result, because that's all we care about. Will we get you the result of, if you're not in a relationship, getting you an amazing one and starting to move you in the right direction so you're doing it right? Or if you're already in a relationship, how to enhance it and bring it to the next level. We're doing a lot of that work as well. And so we'd love to help you guys with that.
I didn't even think about mentioning that. So thank you for that. We'll include the link. We'll do that right now after we get, Katie said Mike is a good man. Mike is actually like the best guy, like one of the best guys I know for sure. Like he's like insane. Like he's just like totally the kind of guy I would want all of the amazing women in my community. Like he's so just awesome in every way. So thank you for being here. And we love you guys. Like, thank you guys. Like, oh my gosh, people stayed all the way to the end of this. I can't believe it. Thank you. Sorry about my jumble. It's like the most jumbled, unorganized thing I've ever done. But hopefully there's like someone out there that needs to hear this. Hopefully this is helpful for somebody. So we love you guys, and we will talk to you again very soon.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.